SpaceX has acquired xAI, bringing Elon Musk's rocket and artificial intelligence companies together. Musk says the merger creates a $1 trillion company. Let's go to Bala, CEO at AIP Asset Management, for some more insight. Jay, you've been invested in both SpaceX and xAI for some time. What is your take on the merger?
No, look, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's going to be good for investors in general, and we've talked about this before, that the private markets is a market that investors need to take a serious look at. It's becoming a dominant force in the investment universe. Today we've got over 1,200 companies or 1,200 unicorns in the world. You've got about a combined 5 or 6 trillion AUM business there. And so, if investors aren't invested in pre-IPO companies, or, if you're sitting with your advisor and, you're looking at your portfolio and you don't have any exposure to pre-IPO companies, look, I think it's going to be a fair question to ask, why not? Why aren't we looking at this space? And, I think the merger of SpaceX and xAI creating the world's largest company, it wasn't born in a vacuum, right? Like, this has been happening for many, many years now, where you've seen, a significant amount of capital go into that world, whether that's through private equity, private debt, venture capital. So look, I mean, I realize the valuations look staggering, but this is no surprise to us. I mean, this is the first of many companies like this to come out of that space. And, I think over the next kind of 12 months, you're going to see companies like OpenAI and Anthropic also come, with these sort of mind-boggling numbers, right? I mean, I grew up in a world where, $1 billion was a lot. Now, we're looking at trillions, right? Which is a whole different number.
Okay, so this is ahead of, we talked about a planned IPO. What's the benefit for the IPO putting these companies together?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you think about it, he's bringing two technologies together. One is effectively the space launch capability, and the other one is through xAI. It's really that AI technology and the data warehouse, and then the data centers, and the whole idea being, he wants to create, or Elon Musk wants to create, these orbital data centers, and the idea being, it's going to be much cheaper from an energy perspective because you can use solar energy and other kinds of energy to power that. And so, look, I mean, obviously, it takes a very significant amount of capital to build all of this out. And so, look, I mean, I think obviously accessing the capital markets at this range with that kind of valuation is obviously beneficial to the company and to him, right?
Okay, so we're hearing a lot more about data centers in space. What do you think about the idea? You mentioned how much investment it would take. Clearly, it would take time, but the energy would be right there. What do you think about the idea?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's obviously groundbreaking, right? Like, meaning it comes with an incredible amount of potential, but it comes with an incredible amount of risk. And so, look, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the investment universe, right? People have to make that decision on thinking, well, are we going to do it in a measured way where you kind of build a small data center and then see if you can scale that and build that and grow that? And I think that's kind of the approach they'll be taking. So, I mean, I realize it sounds out there, but I think it's well worth the try. And if it works, it's going to work out incredibly well, right? Yeah,
he's got the money to do it. What about Tesla? Does this leave Tesla sort of stranded on its own?
I mean, if you look at the history of his companies, they're always intertwined, they're always intermingled, they're always doing investments through one another. And I think his investor base is a very strong, sort of loyal investor base. And so they're used to that. And so, I don't think Tesla's going to be abandoned in any way. I mean, if anything, I think you're going to see more and more transactions between Tesla and, new SpaceX.
But you don't think they'll come under one umbrella at any point?
I mean, you never know, right? At the end of the day, I think, we'll see. I mean, part of it is, I think if you merge them all, maybe that market cap becomes too big, right?
Well, 1.25 trillion is already pretty much out there, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Bala, got to leave it there. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.